that it makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and there weren't a lot of, there was a 3-meter board. And if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did, and back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter.
Oh, my goodness. All right, folks. So I was looking on YouTube and Facebook, and I was trying to find a really good blooper reel of all of Joe Biden's funniest moments, and I couldn't find one. So I decided to make it myself. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'll give my reaction. But without further ado, I just wanted to compile all the best Joe Biden clips in one place so we could all laugh at them for the end of time.
You know, the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up. He said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. I said, you kidding me? He said, no, if you don't come back. And he was right. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And they had, in those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at him, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, close the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again.
So I guess he's just like around, you know, in a black neighborhood or around a bunch of black kids. So he just starts telling like stories like, man, I used to, you know, razor blades, rusty razors, you know, Corn Pop. And, you know, that one is still the funniest thing. And then he starts talking about like his legs in the pool. I don't know what exactly he was going for. I guess some people liked it. They were laughing, but this might be like the weirdest clip ever. I had to, for historical purposes, include this in the blooper reel.
I saw that made me aware when I was in law school. Proudly for Holloway. Proudly for your dad. First African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. Everything about. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what, the men, they're now all men, the guys I work with down here, and they're all guys at the time. They're all good men. Most of them made an awful lot of themselves. And Earl Larkin had a rough time. And some of you knew Earl. I came back as a public defender.
He's always like grabbing kids and stuff. He's like, they used to rub my hairy legs. It's like, I don't know, bro. Maybe is that the right story to tell while you're there? Maybe it is to somebody, but that is just creepy to me. Here's the big Charlemagne thing that went viral where he said, you ain't black here.
Black people saved your political life in the primaries this year. They have things they want from you, and one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You know, that one went super viral. It's interesting though, because he's like, I'm gonna pick a black woman. Like, is it that easy to trick people? You just like tell them you're gonna pick a black woman. They're like, oh, I'm gonna pick a black Supreme Court justice. Yeah, but who is the black Supreme Court justice? You know, do people not think like that anymore? You know, I like Clarence Thomas. You know, I don't like Clarence Thomas because he's a black man. I just think he's a good American patriot. He has good values. And for such a big, important, you know, situation like the Supreme Court, you're more looking for values and somebody who upholds the Constitution, in my opinion. Or maybe if you're left wing, you want someone who does your political skew. But this idea, like when Charlemagne just like, you know, you got to pick a black woman. It's like, what do you want him to pick? Candace Owens? Is that who you want? No, you don't. So what? Like, it's like they you know, Charlemagne's like asking to be tricked. Like, just trick me. And then he complains like, oh, Joe Biden's doing nothing for the black community. It's like, it's kind of your own fault, Charlemagne. No offense, but you know, the reason I'm making this video, once again, for those just joining, I couldn't find a compilation of my favorite Joe Biden moments. So I figured I would make my own and just try to have the best blooper reel on the internet. Here's just to show you how the press treats Joe Biden. This is ABC News. This is my favorite from 2014. It says, Joe Biden eats ice cream like a boss. Amid all the crises and blunders, there are moments when Joe Biden makes being vice president look like it's downright fun. And that's exactly what happened. The VP popped into a hipster ice cream shop in Portland. I mean, first of all, he looks like a geriatric patient that, like, you know, escaped the nursing home. And that, like, do you think Trump or anybody could ever get press like this? Like, wow, he's such a boss. Oh my gosh. I mean, he's really eats his ice cream like a leader. It's like, you know, do people not realize who the media is at this point? You know, they're brainwashing people like everything. Oh my gosh, he's a boss. What a boss. What a boss bite. He looks like, he seriously looks like he escaped the nursing home. And you have like, you know, nurse like, yo, where did Joe Biden go? Be like, he's over in the shrubs. He's eating ice cream in the shrubs again. Like a boss, though. He looks like a boss while he's doing it. And this is the last moment I was going to include because there's obviously a lot of Joe Biden gaffes, but I wanted to get the best one. Corn pop, hairy legs, you ain't black. And this one kind of, you know, the ice cream meme where like Joe Biden's so unlikable. The weird thing about him is if you watch in his older years, he's one of these politicians who was actually like even worse when he was younger. It's not like he's like brain dead now and he's losing his mind. He probably is doing that. But I'm watching clips in the 90s and he acts almost as if he has Alzheimer's in the 90s. And I'm not trying to be rude because he was like in his 50s and 40s, or, you know, he wasn't that old then, maybe like 50s, 60s, 40s, whatever. And he always kind of acted really dumb. Like he was like angry and dumb. So maybe he's just been dumb his whole life. But in his elder years, it just comes off like very geriatric, and they're like, you know, they can't figure out an angle to make Joe Biden cool because he's like he's like hairy legs, roaches, corn pops, you know, razor blades. I you know, black people, please vote for me. Rusty razor blades. I mean, it's a pretty wild thing to do. You know, you go to a black neighborhood and you're like, let me tell them a story about a guy named Corn Pop and a rusty like a rusty razor blade. Like, you're around like 30 black kids, dude. Like, you think black kids need to hear about you and rusty razor blades? Like, you're telling some like ghetto war story of how you're like this white, you know, hero in the black. It's like, it's just like a weird vibe. I can't believe people vote for him. But, you know, it's just like with the ice cream. I think that's the one thing that they're just like, yeah. Oh yeah, like that's the moment. He's a boss. He's really bossing up that ice cream cone. It's like, that's how you know you suck, when you don't do anything right and you just eat ice cream cool.
Mr. President, is Ukraine winning the war?
Mr. President, you believe Putin would use a nuclear weapon?
I just included this one because it's funny. He's just like walking across the lawn looking like a lost dog. You know, I don't understand what's going on here. I guess just do anything for the psyop, right? Yeah, I'm such a loyal mask wearer that I'll even wear my mask when nobody's around, you know? Crazy stuff. Well, that's the compilation. I don't want to make it too long because I want to make it watchable and shareable, but I thought I would do my public service to do the historical content. I took 4 or 5 of my favorite Joe Biden clips. I couldn't find them all in one direction. I saw some of the blooper reels. I was going to do a reaction to them, but none of them were really interesting. And I thought they were pretty like, you know, they weren't that funny. Like they picked some funny moments. So I tried to pick my favorite Biden moments and just get them all in one space so you can watch them. Let me know if you like it. I'll be back more for a different live stream later, but I just wanted to do that real quick and have that out there so I can enjoy it when I'm looking for my favorite Biden moments. I know where to go. I'm going to go to this video. Have a beautiful day. God bless you. And my Dream Rare podcast is out now. Dream Rare Podcast. Just search it on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, wherever podcasts are found. If you'd like to. If not, thank you for being on Facebook, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Gab. I appreciate you all. Have a beautiful day. And, you know, eat your ice cream like a boss or something.